Yeah.
She's like a celeb or whatever.
No, I'm not. I didn't know that freaking Adam was going to tweet that. That was crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
Well, you're making history, dude.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's what I like.
Okay,
had
hold
no
on.
idea.
Can we do this on the podcast?
Yeah.
Okay. I should have brought a water with me. I made that mistake last week.
No,
too.
I'm so thirsty right now.
It's all right. Here we go. All right, 3 seconds.
For the first time, all NCAA athletes are now able to make money from a wide variety of business ventures.
Jair, first question. Why did you choose Limitless? Why not? Welcome back, everybody, to the Limitless Podcast. I am your host, Aeneas Hawkins. Before I get to our special guest, please remember to go check out episode 1 with Renee Brown. And without further ado, I'm joined by 2 very special guests, Anna Camden, Penn State women's basketball, and the one and only Katie Feeney. How are you guys doing today?
Good. Thanks for having us on. We're excited.
Absolutely. We're really excited to have Anna Camden on board officially with the Limitless team.
Woo-woo.
Can we get a round of applause?
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Big time Brad Kraut in the back shouting. Talk to me a little bit first before we do anything else about why you chose Limitless.
Yeah. Why not? No, I'm kidding.
Okay. All right. Take 2.
I know. I just saw that. I saw that on his interview. No, but for real, it's actually funny because like Sean will tell you this himself. When he first reached out to me, my response was like, yeah, we can meet, but I'm not looking for an agent. Like, it's probably not going to happen. And then I heard your guys' pitch and I went out to lunch with you all and I met you guys and I just immediately felt like it was a family atmosphere and it was something like I just couldn't turn down because I had talked to other agents. I'd gotten to a point where I was looking for an agent and there was no one else that was offering the amount of like trust and relationships that Limitless was, and that's extremely important to me. So it kind of just made it a no-brainer.
No doubt. There's certainly a level of trust here with Limitless. I think that's a big key when we're talking to these athletes. Marketing agency run by athletes for athletes is obviously brand new. So talk to me a little bit more about that trust and how much it means to you in terms of the things that you're able to do through NIL with Limitless.
Yeah, like I said, meeting everyone and just having one-on-one conversations, I think it was so obvious how genuine the entire company is from top to bottom. Like everyone genuinely wants to see the company succeed, the athletes that they're representing succeed. Everyone's really bought in behind Sean and believes in his like ambition and hustle and vision for Limitless. So that was huge for me. I also just love that I'm able to like actually in person like communicate with people that are going to be advising me, right? And then the whole like for the player by a player, like it's very hard for like social media influencing agencies' brand deals has been around for a lot longer than NIL has. And it's hard for agencies to fully understand like a student athlete's life and be able to advise them and work with them for brand deals when they have games and wins and losses and practice times to work around. And that's something that Limitless can do, which is like a huge benefit. So.
For sure. Now we have another star here, another Penn State star. Katie Feeney is
Not
in the
me.
building. I would love to hear about how this friendship started. I'm not even sure how it happened, but there clearly
Tell us,
is
Katie.
there is some compatibility, some chemistry here. Talk to me about that.
Go ahead, Katie. Let's hear it.
I think I had seen Anna goes to Penn State, and I was just like, when I was deciding between going to Maryland or Penn State, I was obviously like researching on YouTube and on like TikTok just to see what like the college atmosphere was like, and I came across Anna.
Wait, I didn't
and
even know this.
I think I might have commented on one of your things first, or I followed you or something, but like we found each other on TikTok, and then we like collaborated for the first time at the beginning of the school year, and Anna was teaching me how to play basketball. I've gotten really good. We had another training session, and we just like clicked. Anna's just a great person, like one of my favorite people I've met here. So
This is the most 2022 start to a friendship.
No,
I've heard.
actually.
Connecting on TikTok,
like
following
connecting on
and
TikTok.
Katie was my first, like, and I can't believe I'm saying this, like, social media friend. Like, I remember I saw her on my, like, For You page, and she was talking about, like, picking Penn State, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, a TikToker coming to Penn State. Like, I was so excited, and I followed her, and then I realized that she had already been following me, and then she messaged me, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, so.
Awesome. Katie, you had some big news come out today. Do you want to talk to people just a little bit about what you're going to be doing?
Yeah, so I'm going to be the social media correspondent for the Commanders, and it's something that, like, hasn't really been done yet in the NFL, but basically I'm going to be like filming content like with the team and for the team and stuff all year round starting this summer. And then I'm going to the draft party the 28th. So that will be like the first time I film stuff. And I mean, it's just going to range from like behind the scenes stuff on the field. I mean, I don't even know exactly like what's in store yet. So I'm excited to like see what it is, but it's going to be a really cool experience.
Round of applause for that.
That's big time. That is huge. That's historic.
Thank you.
It really is. It really is. I'll tell you what, I always had a dream as a child, as a football player, to get shouted out by Adam Schefter on Twitter, and then a collaboration post with the Washington Commanders on Instagram. That is outlandish. That's so awesome.
Thank you.
Really big time.
Really
Anna,
cool.
back to you. I really want to get into your family dynamic. You guys are like a factory of athletes. Please fill the people in on your background and what your family is into.
Yes. Okay. So I come from a very tall, very competitive group of athletes. So my mom played basketball at William and Mary. And then my dad was in the Marine Corps. I have two older sisters, one who graduated from Ohio State. She played lacrosse there, was their captain. Another older sister who graduated from Drexel. She also played lacrosse there. And then I have two younger brothers, both who were freshmen playing basketball at Memphis University this year. So they're both figuring out what their next steps are going to be.
Okay, awesome. So you alluded to the fact that it was competitive in your household. Now, please give us some more insight on what that means. Can you give us any examples?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it doesn't even matter what we were doing. We were competing. Like, there could be food on the table, and it was competing for who would get that food first. Like, everything was like a competition.
Okay, this sounds very animalistic in a sense, like fighting over food. You do all kinds of things off the court, from TikTok to your podcast, Courtside with Camden. Talk to me a little bit about what motivates you to do all these things on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think what motivates me is I really just do have so many different interests. Like, I love so many different things, and I don't want to be pigeonholed to be just a basketball player. I don't want to be pigeonholed to be just a TikToker, right? Like, there's a lot of things that I love to do, a lot of parts of myself that I would love to explore, and kind of like see what else I can learn and grow in. And so that's kind of what I've been doing. I'm very thankful to all the places I've gone to school, like my high school and Penn State, because they've all allowed me to do that. Like, I've been able to be like in high school, I was literally in chess club, I was in glee club, I was on obviously the basketball team, I was on the lacrosse team. Like, just doing all of those things is like very fun for me. And then the same at Penn State. So I'm very thankful to the institutions for letting me do that. But I have a lot of different interests. So
For sure. Katie, you've done a bunch of things yourself. What's motivated you to do all the things you've done?
Yeah, I would say like a similar answer to Anna. For me, like, I didn't just want to do social media. I wanted to have like a normal college experience. And yes, like, social media is a passion of mine, but so is going to college, getting a degree, like meeting friends and doing all of those things. So Penn State definitely has allowed me to do that, and it's allowed me to also like study journalism and stuff that I'm looking to do in the future.
For sure. I think what you guys are both saying is really the freedom piece, to really expand yourself. Really, I've heard this before where it's like, I do a bunch of things with the hopes I never have to fit in. I always have freedom. And what we're doing with the athletes, the Limitless, as you know, is really trying to give those kids freedom. That was off the top.
that was a great tie-in.
We're trying to give athletes freedom. How do you feel like Limitless NIL is going to be able to help you continue to grow towards all these aspirations you have?
100%. I love that question because that was like a huge thing for me as I was meeting with Sean and Brad and just like kind of getting to know the system. Was I like being my own boss, and I like being able to dictate, like, doing different brand deals, things that you might not like guess an athlete would be doing. And they were so for it. Like, I've sent like a list of different brands or companies that I might want to work with, or like things that I might be excited to do, whether it might be like a camp I want to host for my brother or getting into the beauty world, like, and everything that I've proposed, like, they've all been behind and supportive and excited about it. Like, not even supportive, just excited for me and excited for the ideas that I have. So I'm really thankful for that, and it's not something that you find in every agency.
Absolutely. I really want to hit this topic. I think it's important. I know it's something you're passionate about. We're finally starting to see an emphasis being placed not just on women's basketball, but women's sports as a whole, especially at the NCAA level. I have a sister who runs track, All-American. She's a beast, works hard, just as hard as any of her male counterparts, does not get nearly the recognition she deserves. Talk to me a little bit about not only why it's important for us to put the emphasis where it belongs on women's sports, but what it would mean to these athletes who are grinding every day.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm glad you brought it up because obviously it's very prominent in our society, as it should be. We've seen an incredible amount of progress in the last, year, in the last 2 years, like in the last decade of equality in women's sports, whether that's coverage, whether that's payment, all of it we've seen progress in. But there's always going to be room to grow. I do believe that. So I think it's important because like you have little girls who grow up thinking that it's like not cool to be a female athlete. Right. Like that is so, I'm not going to say anything like inappropriate, but that is so like foul. Like that is horrible. Like, I don't know. You have people complaining or not complaining. They're arguing against equality because there's not as much participation in women's sports. Like, would you want to play a women's sport? Like, would you want to go read a comment section and then play a women's sport? Probably not. You know what I mean?
That's a great point.
So I think it's so important because the representation matters. Like we see that with social justice. We see that with Black Lives Matter. We see that in every area. Like representation matters. And I think women's basketball, women's sports in general, getting the recognition and the media coverage they finally deserve now, we're just going to see the sports skyrocket.
Wow. That was impressive. Representation matters. You tie that into the whole, that was really impressive. I completely agree though. I think it's a good point. At least for me, when I played football, the reason I did it was because I saw a bunch of people that looked like me, who were built like me, doing that same thing. And that was where my motivation came. So, of course, the numbers are a little bit lower on the women's side of things because the representation, the visibility is not where it needs to be.
I literally get, like, comments on my TikTok. Like, let's say I respond to a hating comment, which I don't do much, but I do it because this reason. Someone will comment and say, this is, like, really discouraging to me. Like this, I want to play basketball. I want to try, but like, it just doesn't seem worth it. And I'm like, that breaks my heart. Like it just shouldn't be that way.
Right. Absolutely.
Because no one is sitting there like saying like, oh, no male is sitting there saying I'm not going to play basketball because no one thinks men's basketball is cool. Like that's every little boy's dream is NFL, NBA, MLB, whatever you want to call it. Like
exactly. 100%. Katie, I'm going to switch it back and we'll come back to women's basketball for sure. Again, working with the Washington Commanders, an NFL team. Shout out Shaka Tony and them boys that I know on that team. Obviously, did you grow up ever imagining that you'd work with an NFL team on their social media?
I mean, it's definitely been a dream of mine, but I never expected it would actually happen and not this soon at all. Like, this was maybe in, like, my 10-year plan, 15-year plan, but sophomore year of college definitely, like, was not something I would have imagined. So it's definitely, like a really surreal experience, and I'm excited. Like, it's what I want to do in the future, so the fact that I can start it early is, like, a dream come true.
Absolutely. My last question for both of you. Obviously, you guys are making historic moves. You guys are changing the game in a lot of different ways. Were there any women in sports, in social media, that were super important, critical in you guys seeing this in yourself? Anybody that motivated you or inspired you to become the leaders that you are today?
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. The list could go on and on. But Renee Brown, an author, speaker, she's just a beast. I watched her TED Talk, Call to Courage, and then read her book, Daring Greatly, and it changed my life. She obviously wrote and talks a lot about the Teddy Roosevelt quote, "Man in the Arena." That changed my life, changed my leadership, changed everything about who I want to be. It's literally on my wall. So Brene Brown's one. And then honestly, my mother and my coach Keegs, my head coach here at Penn State, the two of them have both been women who have represented like strong female character. And not apologizing for that ambition and that assertiveness, which is something that has been hard for me growing up, like feeling like I was being bossy or feeling like I was being like too much of this or too much of that. And they both have encouraged me like, no, you're not. You're just right. And if anything, give more assertiveness, give more opinions. And so I would say those three women come to mind.
Someone I definitely look up to in like the sports world is Erin Andrews, because she just kills it at what she does. And like one day I want to be like doing exactly what she does. And then, yeah, I'd say my mom, too, just for, like, always pushing me to, like, work my hardest. And I think sometimes it gets hard. And, like, I'm the type of person that I love to be busy. I'm, like, all throughout, like, high school and middle school, like, I was such an overachiever. Like, always wanted perfect grades, always wanted to be, I dance, I did like track. I wanted to do everything, and like she always like motivated me to like keep going, and like now I'm seeing success because I've worked so hard. So
For sure. I lied. That was not the last question. You guys are giving such great answers. That it's like bringing things to my head. So the scripts have flipped now, right? You guys are all of a sudden, you go from being the little girls who are looking up to these big time stars and people creating history, and all of a sudden now you're in those shoes. You have a heck of an opportunity in front of you. Talk to me about what that means in your own lives.
Do you want to start, or do you want me to?
you can start.
Okay. This is something I am probably more passionate about than literally anything else we've talked about, because that's literally why I'm on social media. Obviously making money in NIL, like that's all fun and great, but like when it comes down to it, like inspiring the next generation is everything to me. And like you said, it's crazy to think about how I was once that little girl, like watching college games and like going to camps and just wishing I could like meet the girl that I liked the best on the team, right? So to now be that and to get to meet, like, I mean, I hate calling them fans, but like to meet my fans, and to, you know, see like the people that I'm actually inspiring, to see their comments on my TikTok, to read their DMs, because I really do see it all. Like I really try to respond to as many as I can. It's just, it's moving, it's inspiring. I mean, you could put any word in there. I'm just in complete awe and gratitude of getting to like have that effect and influence on people.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't play a college sport, but definitely inspiring. Like a lot of like young girls follow me, and I've met a ton even at like Penn State football games, and seeing how like I've impacted their lives. Like that's like why I do what I do ultimately, and that's like why like my content is like so like clean, is because like parents will come up to me and they're like, you're like the one page I let my kid watch. Like, thank you. And that's like, that means the most to me, because no matter like what people say, like I know why I'm doing it, and like that I can like keep that with me throughout whatever other opinions I get. Like I'm impacting like these young girls' lives, and I'm like bringing an ounce of joy into their life that like maybe they wouldn't have otherwise. So that's why I do it.
And social media can be such a like dark and scary place. Like
It's
I have literally fallen into traps of like scrolling through the perfect bodies and the perfect skin and the perfect faces and the perfect quote unquote lives, and like hated myself for it. And I think like a quote that I try to like live by is like, be who you needed when you were younger. Like that's huge for me, especially on social media. Like, you know what I needed to see when I was younger was like strong, muscular females.
Yeah.
And like
Right.
people who maybe didn't care about like this he said, she said, but like playing basketball on the court, like stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just try to represent, because like that's what I needed when I was younger.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
I love that. I'm going to be honest, that when I told my two younger sisters that I knew Katie Feeney and Anna Camden and that we were doing a podcast today, number one, their first response was, how did that happen? Because you're not that cool. But their second response, they both knew exactly who you were. They follow your social medias. They're inspired by everything you're doing. So to see that in person and to see the effect that you guys have on young girls throughout the country, throughout the world, truly is inspiring. It's really impressive stuff.
thank you so much.
Of course. I want to thank both of you for coming on the Limitless podcast. It's been an honor and a privilege. I am your host, Aeneas Hawkins. Tune into the next episode.
Thanks, guys.